U.S. Navy sailors released unharmed by Iran in less than a day. Folks, this smells.
Yes, it does.
This smells. Something is up. Let's go down the series of events for you, shall we? You early morning listeners get better stuff this time of day. If you didn't know, a couple of our Navy ships over there, state of the art. Guess what I've already prepared for this morning for our first talk.
Something that's not on the front page.
U.S. Navy sailors released unharmed by Iran in less than a day. Folks, this smells.
Yes, it does.
This smells. Something is up. Let's go down the series of events for you, shall we? You early morning listeners get better stuff this time of day. If you didn't know, a couple of our Navy ships over there, state-of-the-art, highest-tech type ships that we had.
Part of the most powerful military on the planet, and it's not even close, according to our president at the State of the Union address.
Both ran aground, system shut down at exactly the same time in Iranian waters. 9 men, 1 woman were detained by the Iran Revolutionary Guard. It said one of the boats suffered mechanical problems off Farsi Island, an outpost in the middle of the Persian Gulf that's been used as a base for the Revolutionary Guard. The Americans' boats were sailing between Kuwait and Bahrain on a training mission when the U.S. lost contact. The U.S. lost contact simultaneously with both of those boats.
After they both ran aground at exactly the same time?
Exactly the same time. On a training mission. What a coinkydink that was. The sailors left the island in the morning on board their boats. They were picked up by Navy aircraft and other sailors as they took control of the vessels for return voyage to Bahrain, where the U.S. Fifth Fleet is based. They're trying to determine exactly what happened. In Washington, defense officials said the Navy has ruled out engine or propulsion failure as the reason for the boats entering Iranian waters. Navigation problems due either to human or mechanical failure could not be ruled out. Now, keep in mind, there were 2 boats.
Right.
2 boats. Let's go on. In those same waters, the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier strike group began a search, as did aircraft from the USS Truman. State TV later released more video and photos of the Americans apparently surrendering on their knees with their hands behind their head. It also showed machine guns and ammunition they had on board. John Kerry, of course, expressed gratitude to the Iranians and Ash Carter. What wonderful people they are. Let's look at a few of the things here. First of all, it's a training mission. We had a USS aircraft carrier there, and we have 2 state-of-the-art Navy boats that are in unfriendly waters that have the ability to defend themselves. And here comes an Iranian Revolutionary Guard boat approaching your boats quickly. I want to know, number 1, was it general quarters on all those boats when that Iranian ship starts approaching at a rapid rate of speed towards 2 U.S. Navy ships? Number 2, were we armed, locked, and loaded and ready to protect ourselves and defend ourselves against an Iranian Revolutionary Guard ship in these tumultuous terrorist times? Number 3, were they told to stand down? Were they told to surrender? The U.S. does not surrender to anybody.
Never used to.
Never surrender. You don't let somebody come up to you and take your military members hostage. We don't do that when we have the ability to defend ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Were there radios and communications on both ships all shut down? Were they all shut down? We had a USS United States aircraft carrier there. We could have had 10 planes up their ass in 5 minutes.
You're dang right.
5 minutes. We have satellite technology. They know where these boats are.
They could see what was going on in real time, I'm guessing.
Nothing. We let these when the Iranians pulled up to these Navy ships, were they there with their Red Cross blankets and their McDonald's Happy Meals ready to greet them on board? Or did they have their freaking guns drawn and were they ready to shoot and kill? Because that's a different situation. Why were we not protecting ourselves and our boats? We don't do that in America. We don't bend over on our knees to terrorist countries and organizations like that, even if we did drift in their waters. Russia's ships were heading to Cuba. Remember that? In the Bay of Pigs? Did we apologize for interfering with their military ventures down there? No, we were ready to blow them out of the water. Something is being hid here.
There is a huge missing ingredient to this story because none of this jives.
These ships were state-of-the-art. I forget they described the ship. These were state-of-the-art ships. These ships have arms on them to defend themselves, be able to attack other things if they're in jeopardy with, missile launchers and things that they have on these small boats. And why were they not defending themselves? Why would you let a country like Iran take U.S. sailors hostage and capture them and capture both of our ships? Why would you do that? And why would our female sailor then put a brown cover on her head as to not to offend the Iranians because women are not allowed to have their heads uncovered?
Oh, nonsense.
This is bull crap. Where in the hell is our press in this country? Why? Something happened here. I would love to get Ryan Zinke in. Ryan Zinke, a U.S. Navy SEAL. He knows how this stuff works.
Well, and he's already on the warpath for something that happened a week ago, trying to get some more information because this administration...
And Mark, not meaning to interrupt you, this was a training mission. So everything in that area and everyone in that area is being monitored and watched. Right. It is a training mission.
Right. Yeah, something smells bad here, and that's because we don't have all the information yet.
That Iranian boat, if they would have been forcing U.S. sailors to come onto their ship, that Iranian boat would have been a bad bobber in a catfish pond if I'd have been there.
And that's the way it used to be with all U.S. military.
That order should have went down. Do not let them take control of our Navy ships. Do not let them take U.S. Navy personnel hostage. Do whatever you have to do. We will have help there in 60 seconds. We could have had helicopters, Air Force jets, everything there from the Truman. It was in the waters. It was right there. You could go from California to New York in one of those planes in 60 minutes if you want. And we stood down. Something happened. Were we ever armed? I mean, were we ever in live fire mode on those two ships to protect themselves? And there were two of them. Why couldn't the one ship take off? How could both systems on both ships, engines, propulsion, everything go down on two of them?
Well, the answer is simple. That's not what happened. Don't even try to tell right-thinking people that that's what happened, because that's not what happened.
They were boats that are able to navigate shallow water. How in the hell were our boats aground in the Iranian boat that pulled up right next to them and picked them up not?
Did they come get us in one of them floaties you have in your pool? I doubt it. Something's up.
And nobody is talking about it. Ash Carter, hush hush. John Kerry, hush hush. President didn't even mention it. He's in Nebraska yesterday trying to, push some. Nobody mentioned it. There's no way in a modern United States military today that happens.
No. You're right.
There's no way that happens. Maybe with one, but not with two.
Even with one, probably not.
And not with the Fifth Fleet being based in Bahrain in an aircraft carrier, moments away from where those ships were.
Yeah. No. Well, we'll have to see if anything else, any more details come out, because we're not getting the story.
No, we're not. The sailors know.
Yeah.
The 10 people on that boat know. They know what happened. It'll be interesting if they are ever heard from. Ever. Those 10. Ever. What the hell's wrong with America and our spine anymore? You don't let people like that in that part of the world.
Well, it goes back to the commander-in-chief and what type of administration is calling the shots.
Oh, and by the way, yesterday, Iran got their first payment for the nuclear deal. I think they released $70 billion yesterday to Iran. Part of John Tester, Tehran John's nuclear bill that he agreed to. They got their money yesterday. Isn't that a coinky-dink, too? That they got that $70 billion on the day that they released the 10 sailors who were captured. Or were rescued and went on board.
We'll have to listen to this. I just found one on MSNBC.
Okay.
Reporter Rachel Maddow says the captured sailor story is, quote unquote, a pile of bull.
Who was that?
Rachel Maddow.
From what network?
MSNBC. And if that one...
Oh, my gosh. If MSNBC is on it?
Yeah.
So...
Okay, well, we'll find out more first news coming up. 5:36 with the Flakes here on the Cat.